Welcome, friends, to another practice with Living Peace Yoga. I am Sean. We are going to work through a slow flow tonight and hopefully find some peace on our mat. So get into something comfy, roll out your mat, and we're going to hop in and do some yoga. Come to simple seated, eyes closed, hands at heart center. We're actually going to start in child's pose this evening. However, do you sometimes just feel like life is too busy? I feel that way a lot. I work a full-time job outside of doing YouTube. I am a frontliner. I'm a nurse practitioner. And sometimes I have to rush to get to this class, to do a video, to get it up on YouTube. I love every second of it. But when in that time frame, or when during that busy time, do I find God? Right. Friend, I have to make time on my mat here, just like you are now, to create that peaceful center in the eye of the storm. It is so easy to fall into, I can't do it because I'm too busy. I can't make it because I have this obligation. Friends, we all have lots of obligations, and sometimes it's hard to prioritize what's important and what's not. But friend, as I go through my life, I have gone through my life without the peace of God, and I have gone through my life now with the peace of God. And this is a non-negotiable. That I just sit and be still before Him, letting Him fill my emptiness back up. So we're going to turn, we're going to get into all fours. We're going to place our bum to the heels. We're going to extend our hands out long, bringing our foreheads to the mat. And we're going to come to this child's pose of just resting. Friends, you took the time to show up and give yourselves some self-care. So now it's time for the Father to do His job and His work by filling you back up. So we're going to stay here for a few more breaths. Good. We're going to come back up to all fours. We're going to come back to simple seated. We're going to take the left hand, we're going to place it on the right knee. Place that right hand back behind, allowing your gaze over the right shoulder, feeling that nice spinal twist. Of course, holding the pose, don't hold the breath. Good, and we're gonna rotate around to the other side. So right hand to the left knee, left hand back behind, allowing your gaze to follow back behind that left shoulder, feeling that nice spinal twist. Good. Slowly come back to center. We're going to take both hands and we're going to extend them up high, reaching our palms together at the top and bringing them down through heart center. Good. We're going to extend both legs out to the sides, starting to warm up those hips and hamstrings. So we're just going to very gently take the left hand, ever so gently slide it down that left leg. Kind of side folding over the left leg. And then we're going to take that right arm and reach it up and over. And as far as you can reach it, if you can touch that left foot, great. If not, just go as deeply as you can. Good. The hamstring stretch feels so yummy. Good, and then we're gonna windmill ourselves over to the other side. So taking that right hand to the right foot, bringing the left hand up and over. So more of like a side bend over that right leg. Breathing deeply as we fall into this stretch. Good. And then we're going to come back up to center, both hands up to the top. Exhale, forward fold it down. Placing those hands flat to the floor. And then take a nice inhale. And just as you feel able, press those hands forward into a deeper forward fold here. Starting to warm up the inner thighs. Good, and then bring both hands back up to center. Good, we're gonna bring both legs together, feet out in front, toes to the heavens. We're going to take the right ankle and we're going to place it over the left knee. Good. And then just where you are, nice and gentle, just forward fold over that left foot. Just creating some resistance. We're not doing a full forward fold here. Maybe just a half forward fold, but just enough that you feel that stretch on the left hamstring, as well as the outer right hip. Good, and come back on up to center. We're going to do the same on the other side. So extend that right leg out. Bring that left foot over the right knee. And then again, just allow yourselves hinging at the hips. Just forward folding just a bit, maybe even a half forward fold, but just enough that you get a nice hamstring stretch. Good, and then come on back up to center. We're going to rotate ourselves around onto all fours. Good. We're going to extend that right leg out, pointing our toes to the mat. We're going to reach that left hand out to the wall in front of you. So feeling that nice long line of energy from the tips of your fingers of the left hand to the tips of the toes of the right foot. Good. Engaging the abdomen or the belly, pulling that belly button in towards the back. Extend that left leg out. Toes pointing towards the mat. We're going to extend that right arm forward. Again, feeling that long line of energy. Good, and then come back to center. We're going to extend that right leg back out one more time. We're going to extend that left arm. Good. And then we're going to take that left hand and we're going to reach around and grab that right foot. Press that right foot into the left hand, but also pressing it up towards the heavens. Working on that balance by using that counter pressure. Good. And let that go and come back to center. Awesome. We're going to extend that left leg back. Working on bringing that right arm forward. Awesome sauce. Good. And then as you're ready, reach that right foot around. Grab the left foot. Press that left foot into the right hand. We're going to press that left foot up to the heavens. And yoga is just like life. When you fall or when you falter, you just get right back on the horse and do it again. Okay, and let that go. Good. Bum to the heels, hands extended out into a child's pose. My fireplace gives off some yummy heat, but once I start producing some heat of my own, it's a little too much. So we're going to come to the breath here in child's pose, and we're also going to come to the stillness. Just being still, listening for the stillness. Good. And then we're going to make our way into all fours one more time. Curl those toes. We're going to come into downward facing dog. We're going to pedal out those feet. Making space in the hamstrings, even though we've been working them a little already. Good. We're going to look to the top of the mat. We're going to walk up to the front. Forward folded out. Good. Big deep breath. Arms up overhead. Exhale, forward folded out. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folded out. We're going to extend those feet back to plank. Moving through our vinyasa flow, so coming down into that chaturanga, push up and up dog. Good, and then uncurl those toes. Coming back to downward facing dog. Good. We're going to take the hands now, and we're going to work them back to the feet. So forward folding it out at the back of the mat. Good. Big deep breath in. Arms up overhead. Exhale, coming into a chair pose.
So like you're sitting in a chair, bum towards the mat, feet flat on the mat, arms extended out straight. We're going to take that same pose that we did in seated, and we're going to place the right foot over the left ankle in our seated pose here. So working on some balance tonight. We're going to talk about that more in our practice of balance. We already mentioned a little of what we're moving towards. Bring that right knee back down, or right foot back down. Forward, fold it out. Good. Big deep breath in. Arms up overhead. As you exhale, back into our chair pose. We're going to take that left ankle and we're going to place it over the right knee so that we're balancing in our chair pose. Good. Release that left leg. Come on up. Forward, fold it out. Good. We're now going to walk our hands back to the front of the mat into a plank pose, walking through our vinyasa. Coming into up dog. Uncurl those toes. Back to downward facing dog. Good. We're going to look to the top of the mat. We're going to walk it up to the top. Forward, fold it out. Big deep breath in, arms up overhead. As we exhale, back into a chair pose again. We're going to try that same pose again. Instead of being at the back of the mat, you should be at the top of the mat. So we're going to take that right ankle and we're going to place it over the left knee. Arms extended out, bum towards the mat. Good. And we're going to release that leg. Take a big deep breath in, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward, fold it out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward, fold it out. Letting the top half of the body really fall forward of the bottom half. Of course, coming back to that breath. Good. Take a deep breath in, arms up overhead. Exhale, coming into our chair pose. Good. We're taking that left ankle and placing it over the right knee. Good. Finding that balance, finding the breath. Good. And go ahead and release that left ankle and forward fold it out. Running through one more vinyasa flow. Big deep breath in, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold it out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat, extending those feet out long, coming down into our chaturanga and up dog, and then back to downward facing dog. Good. Good, good. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. If you lost it, gives you a chance to find it once again. Good. Take one deep cleansing breath here. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Letting all of that go. Good. We're going to extend that right leg out. We're going to bring it on through For a runner's lunge, we're going to bring those hands up to crescent. Good. And then we're going to open up to the right. So extending that right hand back behind. Good. Coming back up for crescent. Place those hands back to the mat. Bring that right foot back to meet the left in downward facing dog. Extend that left leg back. Bring it on through. For a runner's lunge, we're going to come up into crescent, hands straight up, hip points out in front. Good, and we're going to open up for a nice spinal twist to the left. Straightening that right leg. Good, bringing that left hand forward for crescent. And then bringing both hands back over either side of that left foot, coming out the same way you came in. Bring those knees down, bum to the heels for a child's pose. Back to the breath. Friends, balance is hard. Sometimes so is yoga. Sometimes the two together don't go well. Or they go well together and you falter, like I did this evening. It's not to say I can't do yoga, and it's not to say I can't balance. But sometimes finding that perfect middle is difficult. So leaning on the one that gives you the strength to continue the practice of yoga, of life, of balance. That's what will help us to keep our perspective straight and keep moving in the direction that we were born to move in. We're going to come up onto all fours and then coming all the way down to the belly. So just the chest coming up off the mat so that you're just to chest level, head looking, or the top of the head up towards the heavens, but your eyes looking towards the wall in front of you. Hands at your sides or your rib cage. Good. And feel that nice upper back stretch. Awesome. We're going to extend both hands out in front, placing our head on the mat. Really reaching both fingertips to the wall in front, as well as the feet to the wall behind you. Feeling that nice length in the spine. On the count of 3, we're going to lift all 3, our head, our hands, and our feet at the same time. 1, 2, and 3. And remember, just because we're holding a pose, we don't have to hold the breath. Good. Can you lift them both a little higher? There we go. Good. And then back down. Good. We're going to extend our arms out to the sides in a T formation. And again, we're going to lift all three on the count of three. So 1, 2, and 3. So lifting the head, the hands, and the feet. Good. Can you lift them a little higher? Awesome. And back down to the mat. Now we're going to extend the arms out to our sides, backs of the hands on the mat. Once again, we're going to lift all three. 1, 2, and 3. So lifting our heads, our feet, and our hands, all at the same time, while of course not losing the breath or trying not to. Try not to hold it. And then if you can we take it a little higher? Awesome. 1, 2, and 3. And back down to center. Good. I feel like sometimes when life is feeling out of control or our balance is off, we sometimes feel life feels turned upside down. So tonight, on purpose, we're going to do Shavasana on our bellies. Of course, if that's not comfortable for you in any way, feel free to turn over onto your back. I typically will just place my hands up so that one hand is on top of the other hand and place my forehead there. You can use a block, a pillow, whatever you have available to do this time of Shavasana. This time of Shavasana is so important because this, friends, is where we find the true stillness that is ever so needed for the coping skills of life. So let's take a few moments and just listen to your breath in the silence. It's okay if fleeting thoughts come, just let them pass through as quickly as they come and come back to the breath. Soften your face, soften your back, soften your shoulders, let the tongue come off of the roof of your mouth. And you let all 4 limbs fall heavy to the earth.
So friends, there was a method to the madness of balance and faltering during class this evening. In Jesus Calling, Sarah Young writes, "I want you to be all mine. I am weaning you from other dependencies. Your security rests in me alone, not in other people, not in circumstances. Depending only on me may feel like walking on a tightrope, but there is a safety net underneath, the everlasting arms. So don't be afraid of falling. Instead, look ahead to me. I am always before you, beckoning you on one step at a time. Neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation can separate you from my loving presence." Now, friends, if that doesn't bring you to balance and to stillness, I'm not quite sure what will. Continued practice on our mat, of course. When you're ready, very slowly come back to a seated position, hands at heart center. Eyes closed. Coming back to the breath. Thank you for practicing with me tonight, friends. It is more of a blessing than you will ever know. I hope that this practice gives you peace on the mat as well as off the mat as you now go on to balance your life. If you like tonight's content, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks, and I'll see you on the mat next.